opportunity to call to order the Board of Trustees regular meeting Tuesday, April 21, 2020 at 12 noon. Can we stand please for the pledge? Trustee Hobbs, would you do the honors?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Village Clerk.
Okay, so we have present Trustee Hobbs,
Here.
Trustee Johnson,
Here.
and we have via Zoom Trustee Daniels,
Here.
and we have over the phone Trustee Renfro.
Yeah.
Mayor Ryan.
Yes.
Okay, so we're moving on to item number 1. Resolve that upon recommendation of Samantha Fountain, Deputy Village Clerk, the Board of Trustees hereby waives a reading of the minutes of the annual meeting on April 6, 2020, and regular meeting on April 7, 2020, and accept them as reviewed.
Move. Second.
So we have Trustee Daniels move and second Trustee Hobbs. Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Item number 2, Justice Court, monthly report submitted by Village Justice Paul Ardale. Report of the Village Justice for the month of February 2020. Total number of cases before the court, 1,251. Total monies remitted to Village Controller, $125,226. Copy of this report is on file in the Village Clerk's office and may be viewed by the public during office hours.
Could I ask a question on that?
Sure.
What is the outstanding balance of that's owed to the village in tickets? Do we know that number?
No, the judge would have to give that to us. Can you?
What's the status of the FSP contract that was approved by the village? That being implemented?
The judge is still refusing to turn over his records to FSB.
Are they the judge's records or our records?
The judge is they belong to the village court.
So that's separate from us?
Correct.
And we need those records to do what?
FSB needs them
To do what with?
in order to. I don't know what exactly how their system works, but in order to import the information into their system to perform the collections and continue the service of making sure the tickets are electronically, entered and then paid.
Aren't while the judge doesn't control the staff, or aren't the staff village employees?
They are.
Under the control of the village?
The staff are village employees. But the judge controls the court and those documents, and he hasn't turned them over. So FSB couldn't do any collections if they don't know what cases to collect on.
Correct. So, but that's a retroactive.
Even going forward, the tickets still go through the village court, and he would have to turn them over.
But they would be electronic at that point, wouldn't they?
But they still have to be adjudicated through him.
So we can approve something and they not want to live up to it, even though the staff and everybody is ours.
Unfortunately, that's what's happening here.
Okay.
I know that the mayor has tried to discuss it with him. I have. The treasurer, Joe Gill, has tried to talk to him. And I believe the deputy mayor has also tried to speak with him. Deputy mayor or mayor, do you want to inform Trustee Daniels of what your conversations have been with him?
Yes, I did have a meeting with the judge. He agreed when we got the contract, and I guess he met with his staff and changed his mind after the contract was signed, and he said no. Now, I did speak to the mayor about this and our council.
And I myself,
That's something we could really do unless he agrees to
We have talked to the judge on a few occasions, and he's adamant, even though it's my belief that we would make additional monies for the village through Dennis Farrell's effort with the federal fundamental business, but the judge is holding strong, and as Trustee Daniels pointed out, the staff is ours, but the judge's court is the judge's court.
Don't we have the ability to establish our own
We
court
can't, we
and have
can't.
it be adjudicated by our own people?
You can establish a parking violations bureau, but still the judge is the one that has the say in whether that's done, and then you have to hire some sort of administrative judge or magistrate.
Okay. It just seems very odd that we can't get a simple report that says how much the village is owed. How can we budget numbers and not know how much is owed? It's a huge internal control problem.
Look, you know, I think that the more people that speak to the judge is probably gonna be the best. You know, maybe you could try to get this stuff from him, but he hasn't been as helpful, at least towards me. But maybe, you know, trustees will putting pressure on him would help.
If the mayor spoke to him, the mayor and the deputy mayor, I don't know how much trustees put pressure they're gonna do.
It's been a disappointment. We had momentum, everything seemed to be in place, but he has stymied it. It appears that his staff has influenced his opinion. I've told him the staff is in place, not to worry. What we want is additional income for the residents, and the history of Dennis Farrell and the work he's done in our village and in other villages suggests that it would be an increase in income. It seems to me to be the way to go, but we have not been able to convince Judge Dell of that.
But
So
Trustee Daniels, I think that what we should look to is, as we are moving forward budget-wise, if we have control of the staff, and if they're not bringing in or assisting us to bring in, you know, so we can look at that.
Something clearly needs to be done to move forward. To seem very, my only, you know, I don't think I have any sway. My only interaction was to once make the mistake and ask him to lower the sound. It was coming out the back room and told me it was his court. He's letting us use it. So that pretty much told me where we were with him.
What?
Yeah, we were having a meeting, and they were in the back in that little corner over there, and we could hear them coming out the meeting, and I stuck my head in there. I said, you know, we're having a meeting. And we lowered a little bit. He said, basically, close the door. This is my court. I'm letting you use it. So
you've kind of witnessed where we're at.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Me talking to him is not going to do anything.
Okay.
Good choice.
Try another strategy, another approach. Let's move on.
So, item number 3, whereas Riverly LG Redevelopment Company LLC is a redevelopment company organized under and operated pursuant to the limited liability company law of the state of New York and the private housing finance law of the state of New York, with office at 301A Central Avenue, Lawrence, New York 11559. The company. And whereas the company owns real property known as and located at 40-44 West Columbia Street, aka 139-147 Main Street, Hempstead, New York, the property. And whereas the company is a party to a payment in lieu of tax agreement dated as of May 16, 2003, between the company and the incorporated village of Hempstead, a municipal corporation maintaining its principal's offices on 99 Nichols Court, Hempstead, New York, the village, which agreement was amended on November 17, 2008, and further amended June 5, 2018, the pilot agreement. And whereas the company and the village desire to amend and restate the terms of the pilot agreement so as to set forth terms and conditions of the pilot agreement as amended set forth in the Annex Second Amended and Restated Payment in lieu of Taxes Agreement. Now therefore, it is hereby resolved that the mayor of the Village of Hempstead is hereby authorized to execute the Annex Second Amended and Restated Payment in lieu of Taxes Agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Renfro, and second by Mayor Ryan.
What, the question, where this come from? It doesn't say who quote unquote championing this or recommending this as the other resolutions are.
I can't hear.
He said, it doesn't say by the recommendation of whoever be it resolved on this resolution.
Oh, okay.
So who is it coming from? The question is, who's putting this up?
The clerk's office received an email from legal department.
So it should read as, be it the recommendation
Resolved
of.
by the Sheriff's
Right.
Honorable Village Attorney.
Yeah, because it's not up here, and this is the only one that we don't have, be it resolved by whoever.
I apologize. It should say, resolved by Sheriff Bounder or Village Attorney.
And what's the basis of this, Counselor? I mean, since you're the champion of it, how did you?
Oh, I didn't. I sent the email to the clerk, so she was gonna put my name on it. That's fine, but there's 5 trustees, you all are sitting here. I think someone should take ownership if you want it up.
You can put down the recommendation of the mayor.
Okay.
So my questions would be, who reviewed this? Was this reviewed by any consultant or anybody like that?
It was so when you all originally voted on the second amended restatement in November 2018, we had Ken Gray reviewing it at that time, and that's when Trustee Daniels, you were instrumental in negotiating that. I had him review this one as well, since he was involved in that last one in 2018.
With all due respect, Ken Gray is not an economic development expert. Last I heard, he was kind of village council, jack of all trades. How did this computation come up to this?
Are you asking me? Are you asking me, or
Computation at all?
are you asking? I'm sorry. Are you asking me a question? Is that a question for me?
Was that a question?
Or was he
for Sheriff
just making a
Daniels?
statement?
Does anyone understand how they arrive at this figure?
No.
How are we voting on something that no one understands what it is? And it
Because
hasn't been reviewed by a consultant, it's been reviewed by council, it's not an economic development expert in any way, shape, or form.
Because it was reviewed by council that reviewed the last one. And I'm relying on their advice from 2018.
With all due respect, the last one did not involve the construction of new units. It was an extension of the existing agreement.
Okay.
And now I have a question. So, and I just found out.
Now look, let me just,
Let me finish my question.
No,
first.
go ahead.
Okay, thank you. That it was just brought to my attention that this is also in the development overlay, right? The Rivoli, is this property
Is
also?
it in the DOT?
Yes, yes. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That was my question. That was-
Councilor, do you have a comment you want to make?
No, that is,
Okay. Let's move to vote.
I still have a question.
Go ahead.
I have several questions. I really don't understand. This is a pilot being used for new housing. How many jobs will this create? It's been previously stated that pilots, I think there was even a lawsuit that stated that the sentiment of this administration was that pilots would be used to create jobs. What is the job projection from this pilot? IDA only did 10-year pilots, yet this pilot is for 13 years on market rate units. Why is that?
No, this pilot isn't, these 12 units won't be market rate.
These pilots, page 1 of the pilot agreement. Sorry, page 2, section 5. The company has indicated its desire to increase the unit count on the premises by an additional 12 market rate units.
Yes, it does say that, and I had that question, but if you read, the original pilots, the original restatements that are incorporated into this one, they can't become market rate until the extension period.
It also further reads that the rental for the market rate unit shall be established by the company without reference to any agreement, law, or regulation setting rents.
Where are you reading now, trustee?
6D,
6B?
6E.
Correct, but that's not, if you, so that's 6E, but if you look at D, that can't happen until the extended period.
Doesn't say that.
If you read just up 6D, it says, well, let's read all of 6. The extended term of the agreement. In accordance with section 125, 1A3 of the Public Housing Finance Law, the village extended the term of the pilot agreement for 5 years, the extended period. The amount of the pilot during the extended period shall be equal to the pilot in effect as of December 31, 2028, increased by 3% annually as increased pursuant to paragraph 5, and as further increased by the tax increase factor as defined herein. The tax factor shall be equal to the following, and then it goes on. 1, in year 2029, the increase factor shall be equal to 20% of the difference between the pilot and effect as of December 31, 2028, and the amount of the village real property taxes that the company would pay for the year 2029 without reference to the agreement.
Oh, okay, let me, you don't have to read the whole thing.
Okay.
Let me ask you this then. What are the affordable rents?
So just to, if we skip down to D though, during each year of the extended period, the company shall be permitted to convert the following number of low-income and moderate-income units then remaining in market rate units, the market rate units. Year 1, 23 units. Year 2, 23 units. This is the same language that was in the agreement from 2018.
Correct, but in 2018, all the units were low and moderate income. Now adding 12 units.
And these,
Fine.
and so in one of the questions, so we did ask this, we did ask this when we first received this, and then when I sent it to the board weeks ago, and then asked, did the research again from the last meeting, these 12 units are still going to be under the Public Housing Finance Law. I think that question was answered in the email that one of the members of the company sent to you, or I forwarded it to you.
If they're under the Public Finance Housing Law, what rents are they targeting for those units? It's not defined.
You mean whether it's going to be low income or moderate income?
Yeah, low and moderate income based on what?
No, that's what I'm asking. Is that what you're asking?
Part of what I'm asking, yes.
It's the exact same as the 2018, which is why the first paragraph said that the recitals and the preamble set forth above are hereby incorporated into this agreement with the same force and effect as if more fully set forth at length herein. So the same standards from the 2018 and the 2003 apply here. It says that in paragraph 1.
It does not work that way.
No, but I'm just, this is what it reads. I mean, that's the way, and that's the way I read it, and that's the way outside counsel read it. It says, 1, incorporation of recitals and preamble. The recitals and preamble set forth above are hereby incorporated into this agreement with the same force and effect as if more fully set forth at length herein. And then if you read the preambles, it actually says Whereas the company succeeded Rivoli Redevelopment Company LLC as a party to a payment in lieu of taxes agreement dated May 16, 2003 between the Village of Hempstead and Rivoli Redevelopment Company LLC, amended November 17, 2008, and further amended June 5, 2018, the pilot agreement. So that's incorporated fully in here.
It does not work that way.
Okay.
It does not work that way. When you're adding additional units, you have already defined what the building is in the pilot. You're now amending the building to accommodate additional units. You have to redefine what's now going to be covered under the public finance law. You can't just start building 12 units, and it specifically said market units. If they didn't want to say market units, they could have wrote affordable units. They didn't write affordable units. They wrote market units. It's pretty specific. Then, if I look, I think one of the other criticisms that's been used in the past has been that, even though there could be incremental value attained in terms of receipts for the village from the use of this pilot, that there's a cost involved with that. And no one ever factors in the cost. Have those costs been factored in here? The cost for services?
That's a question for me. I don't know.
But that's a
Is there
question for
is
Councilor.
there a cost of service factored into this pilot for these additional 12 units? Because I can tell you, over the last year, there have been 239 calls for service from the Rivoli House, ranging from disorderly conduct, loud music, medical, assault, disturbance, investigation, criminal mischief, trespassing, disturbance, assistance, 239.
Trustee Daniels. Can you?
Yes.
You can hear
I can hear you.
Trustee Daniels, I actually visited that building, and many of the things that they said they were going to do, they replaced the entire boiler system, they replaced the entire camera system, and they've been doing work on the building. They've been keeping their word as far as improvements to the building. The camera system is greatly improved over the camera system that they had previously. I feel that the owner's been doing his best to increase the experience at the building.
comment too, if I may. The 239 calls is accurate. There seemingly has been a spike in disorderly conduct calls. A lot of calls are aided. The previous year, just as a matter of record, there were 176 calls.
So I thought there was a cost associated with those additional units. They're in the development overlay zone. Have any of the costs being associated with being in the overlay zone been attributed to this property as well? My understanding was that there wouldn't be any more units brought online within the zone without revisiting the water and sewer capacity within the development zone. Are we now building an additional 12 units to further tax an already taxed system?
Trustee, they won't be able to build unless they get that sewer water letter, and this resolution doesn't speak to that. It's completely separate.
So why are we putting the cart in front of the horse then?
You have to ask the mayor that. I don't know that that's the case. I mean, many developers have sought an application from the mayor for some sort of pilot agreement prior to getting a water sewer letter. If they don't get the water sewer letter, it's not going to be built.
So why are we approving a pilot if they don't even have a water sewer availability? How much are they contributing to the water sewer availability or creating that additional capacity within the village?
The board already negotiated the 71,000 and change that they are contributing to sewer and water infrastructure.
That was for a previous building without the additional 12 units. That has nothing to do with this. This is completely new in the park.
Okay. I'm just answering the trustee's questions.
Additionally, this pilot is already inclusive of the commercial space on the ground floor. Technically, retail should not be under a pilot. The last pilot that was given, that received a letter of recommendation from the mayor, not from the board, but from the mayor, was the Mazda, and it delivered, or supposed to deliver, 5 jobs. How many jobs are being created from these 12 units? My analogy for this is exactly what's going on with the nation. We have rules that we set and say, these are the rules that we want to play in, but then we deliver messages that say, it's okay if you disregard the rules I said, right? It's supposed to be declining number of pandemic cases in an area before you start to open back up. But by the way, you should hit the streets and tell the state to open back up. Here we say we don't need to use pilots for units. We don't want to use pilots for residential. But depending on who gives it to me, sure, I'll sponsor your bill and you can come build more additional units. By the way, you don't have to give anything to the downtown revitalization efforts. We can base your market rate off of a low-income housing pilot. It's politics. It's politics at the detriment of the people of the village of Hempstead.
The disappointment that I have is that I had said to them, please make sure that all of the trustees are involved and answer their questions in advance, so that when we come to the board meeting, we'll be able to vote yes or no and move forward to the next agenda item. The fact that you hadn't had a chance to speak to them, I'm disappointed to hear that on their part.
I can't hear you.
Okay.
He said he couldn't hear you.
I was saying that I had asked them to make sure they spoke to each of the trustees so that any questions you had can be removed prior to the agenda item being presented at this board meeting. I was disappointed to hear now, or assume I'm hearing, that you did not have such an opportunity. You should have, and that's a disappointment.
I have a question. Is it any way possible, Madam Village Attorney, that we can find out the amount of people that will be employed with this additional 12 apartments?
If you allow me to, I can try.
Okay, we'll pause while you do.
I thought that, your administration was against more apartments. Mayor.
Yes, I'm against new apartment buildings that want pilots and aren't creating the jobs that go with it. Existing buildings and making sure that the residents can remain in place is something I would consider and have done so in the past.
Right, but we're saying, I'm not talking about pilots for an existing building. Now we're talking about adding more units. That's different.
No, I clearly hear that.
Okay.
But I understand too, I thought, in terms of Trustee Hobbs, that your concern at the last meeting was the $71,000, that money had not yet been paid.
Absolutely. My concern definitely was, if we're talking about considering a pilot for anything, make sure that they kept up to date with their payment, and that payment just was received.
True.
But just because they made the payment, it does not mean that I approve 12 additional units.
Okay,
my issue was to make sure that their payment was up to date. So the payment and additional units are two different things.
They are, and I was under the understanding, now obviously you corrected me, that it was the money owed that was the thing that kept you from wanting it to be voted on at that time. Let's see if we can get a response though to the other question that was asked by Trustee Johnson.
Are we going to the next item, or?
Actually, Mayor, with your permission, I could get the developer on the phone. Would you like that?
Well, I'd like to have the answer so we can move forward.
Yeah, okay. Someone hold now.
Would you like to put the phone by the mic?
Yes, when they come back. When they come back, I'll put them up.
I thought pilots were supposed to spark job creation. And I would have thought that this is one of the things that would have been already already clear.
I think that's the reason we're pausing. We're to determine now, when she talks, to find out what number of jobs are added on.
Hold on, I'm gonna put you on speaker at the mic, so, the trustee can ask you his question directly, and then you can respond. So, I'm gonna just tell you, Danny Goldstein is on the phone.
Okay. And he's awaiting trustee Daniels'
Well,
question?
to answer the questions for the board.
Actually, trustee Johnson has a question.
Okay, sorry, go ahead, trustee Johnson.
How many additional jobs will be offered as a result of these 12 additional apartments?
What trustee Johnson, I think you could, just something, how many, what?
How many additional jobs will be created by the addition of the 12 apartments?
Well, a lot of jobs. First of all, the contract that we use is local, and all the work that he hires, even the electricians, you have all the people, the maintenance people, the plaster people, you have all the people, all local people. So it's going to take about approximately, I would say, about a year, to complete. So you have a full year of at least, I would say, between 20 and 30 people, full time.
I think the question is permanent jobs.
So the question is specifically about permanent jobs.
Was that your question?
Is that your question?
No, back up.
Sorry.
It's not the question.
It's going to probably, because it's not just the 12 units that's added, but we'll have to add another maintenance person and another porter to the permanent people that are there now. So it's going to probably be 2 permanent people after the construction is done.
Okay.
Is that
Trustee
satisfy your
Daniels, does he
question?
want clarification on this other stuff?
Trustee Daniels? No?
Okay, that's it.
Anybody else?
No more.
Any other question? Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. One
Hold on
second.
1 second.
2 additional jobs, 2 additional permanent jobs. at
1
that
second,
site.
he's asking another question, Bobby, I missed it.
Go ahead.
I said, what's in this document
Stop,
that
stop.
assures
One
us
second,
that there will be 2
Stop.
additional jobs associated with these 12 units?
I missed the question.
Can you repeat
He would like
that,
to be
Trustee
able to
Daniels?
reference in the document where it says the 2 additional jobs will be permanent after the construction of these 12 units.
Is he asking?
Post-construction, 2 jobs, two with a living wage in the village of Hempstead. Where does it say that? The Mazda pilot came with 5 internships, supposedly, even though they don't even have an internship program in
Post-construction.
all of Mazda across the entire world. But they're gonna create an internship program for us here.
All right, that's
So
good.
the question is, where in the pilot agreement does it say that the project is gonna come with 2 additional permanent jobs? And it gives the example that the Mazda pilot says that, there would be 5 interns.
No, nowhere in the pilot does it say that, because the pilot is the pilot is not new, it's just an extension on the amount of units. I mean, it's the exact same pilot that's there now. And even the original pilot has nothing to do with the work that's there. And and that's not in the additional jobs, is only what I know that I need in that building. That we know, but it's nothing to do with the pilot.
So, question,
Yeah.
Counselor,
Yes, you can speak.
is there any way that we can get a side agreement saying that there will be 2 permanent jobs from them, from the company itself?
Well, I know I'm doing the permanent job because the building needs that extra work. But I mean, signing something like that's very, what happens, let's assume, in the future, we down into what we have in the building, and let's assume the 12 units, I only have 1 permanent job. I don't want the village coming back and saying, well, you promised 2 new permanent jobs, and these 12 units might not support the 2 permanent new jobs. I only know what I need now for what the building, what there is. But that's something that's very difficult, to put into writing on that. And everything that we do in that building, everything we do is we use local people for the permanent jobs that we have. We don't use from anywhere else. Everything we've done in the building, I think we've spoken ourselves many times. All the work, all the contracting, everyone files every permit with the village, all the work all we do is we're local people and use local people for the work.
Yeah, because I've been in there many times, and the workers in there, well, I'm waiting for you. I said, I know you guys work here, and, they know me, they know me. Quite a few people in the building know me.
Does he know he's going on the meeting?
That was former Mayor James Garner
I know it is,
speaking.
but does he know he's broadcast live?
Yes.
Is there any other question of Goldstein and or Garner?
I would like
Wait,
Mr. Goldstein to say.
Trustee
I would like Mr. Goldstein to speak about the improvements on the building in the past year, so the boilers and other improvements he made on the building.
Mr. Goldstein?
Yes, I'm here.
Trustee Johnson would like you to speak on the improvements that were made on the building within the past year.
Sure. Sure, absolutely. First of all, we just finished putting in a boiler system that ran up over $250,000. Two big, brand new boilers, state of the art. Number one, besides being fuel efficient, that we're getting that we're working on with right now with National Grid to get rebates on there, and also they're giving grants for making the building efficient. We also added cameras into the building. We have close to 80 cameras installed in the building. We also went and changed all the lighting in the building to LED lighting to conserve electric. We also installed outside lighting just I think it was like a month ago. We changed all the outside lighting, the lamp posts for the street. If you notice, there's state-of-the-art LED lights on all the lamp posts going on the outside of the building that we did. We also put in mostly new sidewalks. We also upgraded the sewer that we had from the entrance to the building to the street. It was all redone, to make sure that there's no more problems and no more sewer. That cost us a lot of money. We also finished the parking lot. We spent over $300,000 just on the parking lot. We put in electric gates with remotes for the tenants. So now every tenant has their own remote control, and they enter and they have their spot only that no one else parks in that spot. So I know the tenants have been very happy with that. We also installed a brand new state-of-the-art intercom system for face recognition. So when people come to the building, also Mayor Garland seen that system. It's a state-of-the-art intercom system for the tenants over there that we did that they're very, very happy with. We also upgraded the laundry room. We put brand new machines, laundry machines. We put in the brand new dryers, brand new washers. We put in that room. We put in a credit card.
You were breaking up a little bit.
What?
You were breaking up with that last statement.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said we also cleaned up the whole basement. We repainted the floors and the walls, so it's all nice and clean. That got rid of a lot of the bugs and the vermin because the basement is all cleaned out now. There's no more garbage there. We threw out, I'm not exaggerating, maybe 30 containers of garbage that was accumulated in the basement. We got rid of and cleaned that up. We also right now are working on redoing all the hallways right now, getting rid of the carpet and putting down brand new tile linoleum in there in the lobby in that area. We also updated part of the fire alarm system that was bad, that we updated. And there's a lot of other things that we did in that building in the tenant department that we did. In a lot of the tenant departments, we did many, many repairs by replacing, the stoves, the refrigerators that were bad. We also replaced a lot of the air conditioning units in the apartments that were bad for tenants. We replaced radiators. We did a lot of work in that building, and we're not done. We're still doing a lot more work.
Okay, thank you.
I just have one other thing to add. I understand that you had over 230 calls in that building last year. What have you done to improve that besides the cameras? Calls from the police.
You're talking about 130 calls you need to the police?
So, Deputy Mayor Renfro asked that he understands that there have been 239 calls to the building within the last year, and you're asking Mr. Goldstein, what has he done to remedy that? Is that correct, Deputy Mayor?
Yes, Trustee Kelly.
Yes, I'll tell you what we done, and also Mayor Garnish can tell you, we met with the police numerous times. We went to them, we also set the police up with all the cameras. The police department has full view of all the camera systems in the building now that they never had before. We met them. Mayor Garner can tell you that we met the police there, went through the building, went through the residency, what the issues were going on over there. We're addressing the issues every day, and every day it's getting better and better with the people that are coming in from the outside, causing the trouble to the tenants over there. We're stopping them from coming into the building. So yes, there's been a lot of phone calls to the police, to the village, but we've been working on a lot of that. Also, the other one is just saying, we have 130 residents at that building, more or less. I mean, not 130, 112 each apartment, some commercial. So even if you have 130 calls, that averages maybe one call per tenant per year. That is, that's a lot. But we're also working on doing all the repairs in the apartment that is going to be cutting down a lot of phone calls because we've actually been going to the apartment and doing those repairs that were neglected for many, many years that were never done before. And we're doing that now.
Deputy Mayor.
Sharice, can I give some information?
Sure, this is former Mayor Garner speaking.
Yes. Now let me just tell you what I did. I went directly to the armory. Went directly to the detectives, Hempstead, the detectives. I met with Darrell H. and him upstairs. And from there, we set an appointment to meet with Dan Goldstein and Alan at the Rivoli building. So they came over, two or three detectives came over. We met there for about almost 2 hours. Now let me say, I don't know if Dan wants me to go into this because this could be a little.
I think we need to be careful because we're borderlining on giving too much information.
So no, Mayor Garner, we're live streaming, and both two trustees have said they don't want you to go any further because they don't want you to reveal too much information. But the assistant chief of police is here, and he could shed some light on some of the numbers if you'd like, Deputy Mayor.
No, I'll get them from him.
Okay, because he does have the amount of case reports that were actually done out of the 239 calls.
Okay,
That's
all
good.
right.
That has nothing to do with it.
Chief Colvin, you need the mic, because we're live streaming.
Do we actually need to?
No, we don't. I don't see why. That,
Even though we're doing all this work, we're not done.
Chief,
One second,
Chief,
we're live streaming.
Chief, one
Deputy
second.
Mayor, we have the 239 calls that have been previously stated. Disorderly conduct had been spiked, 80 calls was high. I'm not sure you want to go any greater detail. Deputy Mayor, those figures,
I can't understand.
fair statement? Deputy Chief?
Well, so let me say this. Let me say this before the chief. The owner of the building, he talked in detail of the fact that he's met with the police department and they're working with coming up to a resolution. I don't think we need to go any further than that. They spoke to the police, the chief is here, he agrees that they spoke and they're working on resolving the issue. I don't think that we need to go into any more detail in a public forum because executive session also is called if it's going to expose some police matter. That's where you go.
That's not what I was asking, Trustee.
No, I'm saying that we're going to.
We don't need no more.
Let's see if we can get this thing under control
Deputy
here.
Mayor.
Deputy Mayor, do you have any further comment?
Wait, Deputy Mayor, I'm sorry, they can't hear you.
He said he heard it now. He said he'll speak to the chief. We don't need no more. That's what he said.
Everybody called and that was it.
He said he wants them to verify. That's what
But
I'm
I'm not deputy mayor. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the former mayor and the owner. They was going into too much detail.
Right,
That's what I was addressing.
All right, let's move forward.
That's all I want to know. We can-
Right, that's what he's gonna give you. Chief Colvin,
That's it, man.
I'm not sure what the question is at this point.
out of the 239 calls, can you give us a breakdown of how many reports were done, and et cetera?
Over the same time frame, last year, it was April 14th of 2019 through April 14th of 2020, there were 22 case reports prepared at that location. So it's 239 calls for service with 22 case reports.
Deputy Mayor, did you hear that?
Yes, I did, okay.
Oh, thank you.
Okay,
All right, so can we move on and vote?
thank you,
or
Assistant
you
Chief.
still have questions?
Let's move to vote.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
let's move to vote. Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
trustee Hobbs,
No.
trustee Renfro,
Yes.
trustee Daniels,
No.
Mayor Ryan.
Yes.
Motion passed, and moving on to item 4. Resolved that upon recommendation of Larry Lust, purchasing agent, and Vision Farhani, engineering department, that bid number 5, HEMB 2018-19, 2018 requirement and specification for cleaning, TV inspection, repair, and rehabilitation of sewage pipeline on various streets in the corporate village of Hempstead, be granted an additional 1-year extension under the same terms and conditions as new bid number 10, HEMB 2019-2020, in this fiscal year. The award to the lowest responsible bidder, Earth Repair LLC, PO Box 516, 119 North Phillips Avenue, Springfield, New York, 11040, in the amount of $299,989.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
trustee Johnson,
Is this, I have a question.
I didn't get the second.
trustee Renfro.
Yes, what is it?
No,
No, you okay?
Counselor was asking me who's second, and you did. What's your question, trustee Johnson?
Is this any of the work that was already contracted out? Is it any
No, I
duplicity
spoke to
here?
Frank about that, trustee, and he said, no, it's not the same. The other one was capacity, and they're not gonna do this level of work they're doing here. So I got a chance to talk to Frank about that, so.
That's good.
Okay, so we're not paying double? How much money was, for the other contract, how much money was allocated for that?
I think the total between the two, one was the water number and then the sewer number. I think the combination was like 171 in total. But the calculations and the model, in other words, the output from that survey is not won't be as detailed. There are specific areas that Frankie knows he has problems right now that he's going to be focused on with this extension of the 300,000 per.
So when is their work starting?
We just got an account code from Joe. I got to follow up with Frankie. We got the code last week, right after the last meeting. So I'm hoping it starts in short order.
Okay.
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
trustee Hobbs,
Yes.
trustee Renfro,
Yes.
trustee Daniels,
Yes.
Mayor Ryan.
Yes.
We moving on to item number 5. Resolved that upon recommendation of Kevin Coleman, Assistant Chief of Police, the Board of Trustees hereby approves to enter into an agreement with SSD Inc., referred to herein as Shot Spotter, to provide gunshot detection solutions to help the village of Hempstead to identify, analyze, and respond to violent gun crime.
So moved.
So moved.
I have a question.
Well, let's see, we have the second, I think.
Yes, that was trustee.
I'll change mine in a second, because.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we have a motion made by trustee Renfro and second by trustee Hobbs. Your question?
My question is, what's the capabilities of this shot spotter system? That question is for the Assistant Chief.
I don't even know if that mic is working.
It is.
It is? Yeah.
It is, see?
Okay.
The capabilities of the ShotSpotter system is it receives and identifies shots fired and pinpoints it geographically. That's what ShotSpotter does. It notifies the police.
I said it before, the previous administration claimed that the shot spotter system that was in place would actually, shots would be fired and it would zoom in on the perpetrator. Does that Does this camera have that capability?
There are no cameras associated with the ShotSpotter system. There was a plan in the past to integrate the ShotSpotter system with our video camera system. That has not worked the way we wanted it to. So at no point was it designed to zoom in on anything. It was supposed to turn cameras within a predetermined distance from a ShotSpotter alert. At this point, that does not function the way we want it to. We hope with our revamping of our camera system beginning tomorrow that might be possible in the future. But that has nothing to do with ShotSpotter. That is not in their capabilities.
I just want to say for the record, that was said publicly several times by the former mayor, that it zoomed in on the perpetrator when they were shooting, and people were misled. Thank you.
Any other questions? Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Item number 6, resolve that upon recommendation of Sharice Vanderhall, village attorney, the board of trustees approved the for Mental Health Association of Nassau County, having an office at 16 Main Street, Hempstead, New York, to utilize 68 parking spaces in parking field number 4 in the incorporated village of Hempstead from October 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2021. The mayor being hereby is authorized to execute said agreement on behalf of the village of Hempstead on such terms and conditions as are acceptable to the village attorney.
So moved.
Trustee Renfro made a motion. Do I need a second, please?
Second.
I have a question just to the counselor. I did a side-by-side between this and the last resolution that was up last meeting. I didn't see any differences in between this one and the last one. The last one was defeated 4-1. Is this the same agreement just again?
Yes,
So no changes, right? I didn't see any.
no changes.
I have I would like to make a statement. Or no, I'll change it to a question. So this contract is for a year, correct?
Correct.
All right. I just want to also keep in mind that with the coronavirus, the lack of income period that village have experienced, that we as trustees in our fiduciary responsibility, we need to, consider that something guaranteed is something better than, so, I was thinking about this and looking over, that's my statement.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I concur that the $90,000 is better than no $1,000.
And
Right, and it's-
taxes for 12 new units has the same effect. So let's not pick for one thing and act like the last thing didn't happen.
Hold on, I need the phone number. Can you repeat your statement, Trustee Daniel, please?
I'm just following up on the previous statements that, something is better than nothing. I'd say that should also apply to the pilot that was just given. That where the actual person being induced for the pilot wouldn't even guarantee jobs similar to the Mazda.
Ready to vote? Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yeah.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
So,
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Moving on to item number 7. Resolved that upon recommendation of Mayor Don Ryan, the Board of Trustees hereby accepts the donation of a school bus for use by the Hempstead Police Department.
So move.
Trustee Hobbs made a motion. I need a second.
Second.
I second, but I just have a question. I don't
Trustee Renfro
understand.
made the motion.
I asked a question.
Go ahead, trustee Daniel.
I don't understand the connection between us and PAL.
No, this is not PAL. It was changed to read the police department, not PAL. The resolution was changed. Did you hear me?
I hear you. I guess when that happened, the latest one I have up, I checked.
It was amended. It was amended to read
Yes.
the Hempstead
You
Police
should have
Department.
gotten the correct one, trustee Daniel.
Oh, okay. So this is item 10, or this is?
No, item number 7.
Item 7, and it should read Hempstead Police Department as opposed to Hempstead PAL.
So it goes to the police department, then the police department is going to allow the PAL to use it? Is that?
Well, as any equipment that the police department has, and with their vehicle fleet, if it's a van or whatever, they can use, any unit within the police department can have access to it. It's police department property.
The answer is yes.
Right. No, I just don't, to that point, I wouldn't want it saying Hempstead Police and have our kids riding in a police car from, a police bus without it being PAL written on it versus just the police
I
department.
think that's a good point. I think we need to add on to the description when it is used by the PAL. We can look into that.
Well,
You can have a portable sticker that you
that's
put
the
on there if
thing.
you know.
Good.
That's what I was gonna say. Get a
Magnet
portable.
that could say PAL if you want,
Then,
when you have children.
It's a good answer.
Excellent answer, I agree.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, we ready to vote?
Yeah.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro? Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Item number 8 was the village controller. The board of trustees approved to settle the workers' compensation claim in the total amount of $56,455.78. Be ratified.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Moving on, item number 9, resolved that upon recommendation of Gary Wood, Deputy Treasurer, the Board of Trustees hereby approves for Ralph Frail to carry over 5 vacation days past his anniversary on November 30th, 2019.
I'm gonna ask before we move on this, that we could skip this, because I want to go to executive session on this matter, and go to the next one, because it is going to deal with personnel
Okay,
issues.
Okay.
so we're gonna skip this one, we're gonna move into executive session at the end, so you guys can discuss this. We're moving on to item number 10. Resolved that upon recommendation of Mayor Don Ryan, the Board of Trustees hereby approves the installation of a tent on Wednesday, April 22nd, 2020, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Municipal Parking Field number 12 for COVID-19 testing site until further notice or suspension. Said permission is contingent upon compliance with the rules and regulations of the Hempstead Police Department and no liability in connection with the holding of this event and observance of the code of the Village of Hempstead as it applies to group gatherings of this type, insurance determined by the board herein, and the execution of a whole harmless agreement on such terms and conditions as may be acceptable to the village attorney.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
We have trustee Daniel second on the motion, trustee Renfro. Trustee Johnson?
Okay, question.
Oh, go ahead.
When will they start testing actually?
9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
They will start testing tomorrow morning?
9 o'clock tomorrow morning they'll start.
They start testing tomorrow morning? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question also.
Do we know exactly what this is, to see if you have it, or is it antibodies or both?
So, my understanding is that they will be using the rapid test, which will tell you either whether you've had it, you have it, or you've never had it.
Right, but they also,
The fingerprint.
the testing has, but they also stated that you have to be symptomatic.
Yes.
If you're not symptomatic, they're not gonna test you. So I just
Okay.
we need to make that clear.
Yes, and you need an appointment.
So now, they're not just calling people from Hempstead then?
No, they're not.
Okay, that's no, okay, thanks.
I have a question. How many people do they plan on serving a day?
35 in the beginning, up to 100 once they get it established.
Thank you.
Okay.
So how many hours is the testing gonna be out there?
9 to 2, Monday to Friday.
That's not that many people an hour, but that's all they can do.
Okay.
Anybody else? Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Absolutely.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes. Have you vote?
Item number 11, right? Yes. Resolved that Mayor Ryan and the Board of Trustees hereby approves for the rescheduling of the regular board meeting on Tuesday, May 5th, 2020, from 6:30 p.m. to 12 noon.
Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Moving on to item 12, resolved that upon recommendation of Mr. Barrington, Human Resources Director, the Board of Trustees approves for Dave Rook, a corporate village Hempstead of Water Department employee, to receive supplemental sick leave at half pay in accordance with village policy, Article 7, Section 5 of the CSEA bargaining agreement. Trustee Renfro made a motion, I need a second, please.
I move.
Trustee Daniels made a second. Trustee
Well, make that a
Johnson?
second, okay, Mr. Trustee Daniels?
He made a second, he seconded.
You seconded?
Yes. Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, who was the second?
Trustee Daniels?
Oh, who moved?
Trustee Renfro?
Thank you.
Now, no,
I just have a correction
question.
for Trustee Daniels. So, they actually couldn't get access to the rapid test, so they're doing the nasal swab.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we're moving on to the addendum. Resolved that upon recommendation of Assistant Chief Kevin Colvin, the recommendation of Lieutenant Derek Warner be designated Detective Lieutenant. He completed 18 months as the supervisor of an investigation unit on March 18, 2020. It will be Lieutenant Derek Warner designation to Detective Lieutenant with a salary of $184,831.
Move.
Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Resolved that upon recommendation of Joe Gill, village treasurer, all meeting bills ordered by the board of trustees on check warrant dated April 21st, 2020, be approved as pre-release review.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
So now we're gonna move into an executive session.
Let's take it. Entertain a motion to move into executive session on personnel issue.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Renfro, second. Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes. All right, if we can close the machine, and we'll stay here, so Chief, thank you. Okay, we entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Need a second, please?
Second.
Okay, let me see the time. Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Does the board wish to approve the matter that was discussed in the executive session?
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, so trustee Hobbs made the motion. You're making the, are you seconding?
No, wait, I'm sorry. There's no vote from executive session. There's a resolution. We're just voting on it. We're voting on number 9.
Also, that was
We
secret.
come out of executive
Right.
session and then vote on resolution number 9.
No, you voted on coming out of the executive.
Correct, so now we're out, so now you just read resolution number 9.
You're right, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thank you. Resolve that upon recommendation of Gary Wood, Deputy Treasurer, the Board of Trustees hereby approves for Ralph Friel to carry over 5 vacation days past his anniversary on November 30th, 2019.
So moved.
And Mr. Renfro, we can change that to a second.
Okay, so trustee Renfro made the motion and trustee Hobbs second.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Johnson,
No.
trustee Hobbs,
No.
trustee Renfro,
Yes.
trustee Daniels,
No.
Mayor Ryan.
Yes.
Okay, motion failed.
Okay,
Yep.
Yes, it did. Now, can we have a motion to close, please?
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Johnson,
No.
trustee, trustee Hobbs,
Yes.
trustee Renfro,
Yes.
trustee Daniels,
Yes.
Mayor Ryan.
yes.
I'm like,
All right.
thank you so much, Sharice.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Renfro.